welcome back to Opal and Mint. I am Ashley, and today I'm going to be talking about getting started in watercolor. What supplies you need to get started in watercolor. I know there are a lot of people out there that are intrigued by watercolors. They want to get started, but they just don't know what they need to get started. And there's so much information out there. There's so many different paints, so many different brushes, and you can't sift through all the information. So I'm here to show you what you need to get started in watercolor. All right, so the first thing is obviously watercolor paint. Watercolor paint comes in a couple of different ways. It comes in pans and it comes in tubes. And there are so many different levels of quality. There are different formulas. There's so many different things when it comes to watercolor paint. But I personally think that a beginner in watercolor should start with watercolor pans. They are the most user-friendly. As you start learning about watercolors and you want to get tubes, I mean, you could start with tubes if you wanted to, but it is so much simpler just to start out with pans. This is the one that I recommend. This is a Winsor & Newton Cotman. So the Cotman is the student grade line from Winsor & Newton, but this is their pocket palette and it has just all of the basic colors you need. You can mix anything you want from this, but I highly recommend just starting with the basics, learning how to use the basics. So we've got 2 yellows, 2 reds, 2 blues, 2 greens, and then we've got browns, black and white. And this is actually the palette that I started with, this Winsor & Newton Cotman pocket palette. It comes with a brush, actually, a travel brush. It's actually this one right here. And this is all you need to get started. You don't need to get fancy with your paints. Another actually bonus tip I will say, stick with one paint for a little while. I am currently testing out a bunch of different paints and buying all kinds of different paints and testing with different formulas, but I've been painting for a while now, and I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is to learn one paint to start out with, because instead of each paint does paint a little bit differently, and so when you're learning how to paint and then you keep changing up the formula you're using, it can get confusing. So pick a paint, use it for a while, and then branch out to some other ones. But highly recommend this specific palette, but in general, just get a pan palette to get started. All right, so obviously we've got the paint, now we need brushes. This is an equally overwhelming category. There are so many brushes, so many brands, shapes, types, sizes. I'm gonna simplify it for you. You need 2 brushes to get started. Depending on what style you're wanting to paint, if you're wanting landscapes or you need bigger washes, you might need a bigger brush, but just to get started, you need 2 round brushes. You need a small and a medium-sized round brush just to get you going. You can expand from there. Even having like a size 16 round brush and then like a size 6, somewhere in that range, but definitely recommend getting 2 round brushes. The round brush, it's probably the most versatile style brush. So get started, pick a brush, pick a paint, stick with those for a little while, and then move on to other ones. As far as brands go, you don't need to get anything fancy. I personally love the Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby, the Fine Touch and Master's Touch, but you can find some brushes on Amazon. There are definitely some brushes that are harder to work with, but in general, a nice round brush with a good point is going to be fine. The Princeton line of brushes are good. I love the Aqua Elite, but if you just want to buy a cheap brush, go to Hobby Lobby, get something from their Master's Touch line because they're really, really good brushes. I will go in detail with, if you want to know more about brushes and brush shapes and what they're used for, I'm going to be doing a video on my favorite brushes, but this is again for the very, very beginner who doesn't have any supplies yet, okay? So we've got the paint, we've got 2 brushes, now you need paper. And again, as a beginner, this might be the wrong thing to say. I'm gonna say don't use 100% cotton paper when you're starting out. I know if you've watched any watercolor videos, 100% cotton paper is what everybody recommends, and I personally love working with cotton paper, but when you're starting out, buy some cheap stuff and just paint. Put your paintbrush to the paper and practice, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you to do on cheap paper. When I got started, I actually got a bunch of sketchbooks, watercolor sketchbooks because that way it keeps it all in one place. You don't have a bunch of loose papers everywhere. You can flip through it. And they do make cotton watercolor paper ones, but they also make non-cotton. I don't even know what this one is. I have no idea. Tumarato, so this one may be cotton, I don't know, but they have different sizes. I say start small. It'll be a lot easier for you to fill up a page that is smaller. So I like the smaller version of this. I have several of those that I filled up, but get a watercolor sketchbook. Another couple of papers I would recommend, aside from just getting watercolor sketchbooks on Amazon, which I will link some below so you know which ones I'm talking about. But the 5 Below paper is great for practicing, and it's on a spiral. The B paper, the B inspired paper and the B paper, both of those work great for practice. And B Paper Company actually makes a cotton paper that is inexpensive. So if you do want to try cotton, try the inexpensive paper first. So we've got our paints, we've got our brushes, and we've got our paper. You are almost set. The only other major thing you need is a water cup and obviously paper towels, but most people have those. Oh, where's my water cup? I painted in the other room. Darn it, hold on. Here is the one that's sold at Walmart, the Be Inspired paper. This is $11 for, I believe, 50 sheets. Very inexpensive. Okay, so water cup. You can use anything you want for a water cup. You can use a disposable cup. You can use a mug. You can use whatever you want to use. I personally like using a glass cup. This is just a drinking cup that is now a paint cup. I do not drink out of this anymore, but I have a set of 2 of these. One is for clean water and one is for dirty water. I personally prefer using 2 water cups when I'm painting. It cuts down on the amount you have to change out your water when you're painting. So I suggest getting 2 cups. I like having 2 identical glass cups. Honestly, there's a couple of reasons I like glass cups. One, it will clean easily, but I obviously don't clean mine. I like seeing the evidence that painting has happened. So I honestly don't clean this top part of my glass that often. But the other thing I love about having a glass water cup is just the sound of my paintbrush on my cup. But literally, use any kind of cup for your water cup. You don't have to buy a fancy art cup for that, but that is all you need to get started in watercolor. Now, I'm definitely going to leave some links down below of some of these supplies so that it will be easy for you to find. I do not have any affiliate links, so these are all just for your convenience. But if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments. And if you have a recommendation for a video you want to see me do, something you want me to cover, also let me know that, because I definitely want to go over brushes and different supplies more in depth of what my favorites are, but suggestions are always welcome. Also, if you are brand new to watercolor, I highly suggest you watching my Watercolor 101 video. It's the first video that I did in watercolor on my channel, and it is an hour long. It goes in depth of all the techniques you need to get started in watercolor. So get your supplies, go watch that video, practice, and I'm so excited that you are here. I hope that you stick around. If you did enjoy this though, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you can see our future videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Now I have to go edit this very quickly. Hey guys, and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley, and I feel like I need something on my lips. Hold on. What's the right word? I'm tired of these cars is what I'm
revving their
40. Looks a little crooked. Quit looking at me crooked.